Number 1 Ohio State hosts Minnesota Saturday at 7:30. Your Buckeye Roundtable up next on The Fan. Buckeyes defensive end Caden Curry was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Saturday, he became the 5th Big Ten player since 1995 with 10 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks in a game. NFL tonight, Jets are at the Dolphins at 7:15. Then the Bengals face the Broncos on the road at 8:15. Browns acquired Texans offensive tackle Cam Robinson in exchange for a 2027 6th-rounder. Head coach Kevin Stefanski said wideout Cedric Tillman and DeAndre Carter will miss weeks due to injury. MLB postseason, Guardians host the Tigers in Game 1 of the AL Wildcard Round Tuesday at 1:08. Reds visit the Dodgers in Game 1 of the NL Wildcard Round Tuesday at 9:08. This update sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
From Learfield, this is the Buckeye Roundtable Show presented by Burger King and brought to you statewide by the American Dairy Association Mideast and Cova Insurance, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers on the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with former OSU All-American Jim Lachey and the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, here's your host, Skip Mossick.
And hi again, everybody. Welcome into another Buckeye Roundtable as Ohio State comes home from the Pacific Northwest with a 24-6 win at Washington. We'll talk about that and break down the weekend of college football with OSU All-American, NFL All-Pro Jim Lachey. Great to see you back home.
Great to be here with you, Skip.
Longtime voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, back safely.
You ready to dazzle everybody with all those college football stuff?
We're going to get ready. It's going to be an exciting couple hours here. Coach Ryan Day will join us later this hour. And guys, we talked all of last week about how Washington was 3-0, averaging 55-plus points a game. Ohio State holds them to 6. There were several standout performances, but what was the biggest takeaway from that Buckeye defense? Paul, we'll start with you.
The ability to get pressure on the quarterback, to keep the quarterback from becoming a gigantic running threat, which he had shown to be the ability to do, but to get as much pressure as many times as they did, maybe the most significant thing.
Yeah, I agree with you, Paul. I think our defense, especially, highlight those defensive linemen, Caden McDonald, Caden Curry, who, by the way, just named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week for that performance. It was awesome. They knew that they had to step up. They had a quarterback that can run. They had to be, diligent in their rush lanes, and I think they were. They did a good job of keeping him in the pocket, and then every time he tried to escape, they took him down for negative yards. I mean, the kid was averaging 73 yards per game, and he ended up with minus 28. So I thought our defensive line did a fantastic job, and then obviously Sonny and Arvell backing those guys up. There was no rushing lanes for him to go, and our secondary didn't do a bad job either. You look at Denzel Boston, coming in, he was averaging about 5 catches per game, ended up the game with 3.
I know it's all about the players and the talent, but what has Matt Patricia brought to this team on that side of the ball?
I think what it's brought, Skip, not only just a new voice and some new enthusiasm, but seemingly what they've done is brought all kind of different looks to the opponent. We saw early on where Caleb Downs was coming up playing at the line of scrimmage. But some of the other things that they've done that is kind of showing one thing and then playing out with another that seemingly is catching these opposing offenses off guard.
I think he's tied everything together. He's got the defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary all playing as one. And sometimes, maybe in the past that wasn't the case. But he's got them all kind of matched up and doing their job. And as Paul said, showing them a lot of different looks, confusing some of the offenses. And look what he's done in the red zone. I mean, right now teams are 0 for 6 in the red zone. I think that only touchdown was a passing touchdown in the first game of the year that Livingston had in Texas. So, I mean, a lot of field goals between then and that, but just 22 points for the year.
You had the long one that OU got.
Yeah, that's right. The 74-yard, 2 touchdowns. Yep.
Flip side of the ball, guys. Buckeye offense, kind of a blue-collar type of day. 149 on the ground, 208 through the air. Both teams really ate up a bunch of clock. But what did you like from the offense Saturday? And I guess what areas will the coaches be looking at for improvement in your mind?
Like their composure, Skip. The way that even though they got stopped early down there on 4th down, close to the goal line, it didn't seem to get anybody rattled. And then what they were able to do was get a number of things going. I think it was 8 different people that caught passes. You saw the 3 running backs get their fair share of work out there. And again, Julian Sand just continues to look comfortable out there.
I think, when you look at it in that second quarter, after things started slow, they needed to make some plays before half. They were trailing in that game. 3-0. They come back, they get that touchdown, right before the end of the half. Jeremiah Smith coming up, making a play in the end zone. That's after we had a penalty that backed us up 5 yards. But I thought they showed composure in that third quarter. And then, Coach always talks about that middle 8, being good the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. And that was the case. Ohio State had the ball to start the third quarter, and the offense went out there and put another drive in the end zone. Then you could feel a little bit of breathing room then. Tonight's
broadcast, as well as all of our Buckeye Roundtables throughout the season, are available on our flagship station's YouTube page. Simply search WBNS Radio on YouTube. You can watch live or later if you miss any part of it. You can also download the Buckeye Roundtable podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to subscribe to both. Fans, you can win a catered party for up to 20 people at your home for an away game this season, plus a behind-the-scenes tour of Ohio Stadium for 10. The Giant Eagle Tailgates and Tours Sweepstakes is presented by Pop-Tarts, Rice Krispie Treats, and Coca-Cola. Register today at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/tailgates for your chance to win. Saturday, Ohio State will host Minnesota. Will be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 6 p.m. Up next, our 60-second timeout as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Ohio State fans. Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Your home for Ohio State Athletics, The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care.
Buckeye Roundtable. 60-second timeout.
Lots to get into this segment. As always, let's start with DeMond Williams, who came in with a lot of fanfare about his mobility and how he could cause havoc for opposing defenses. Ohio State sacks him 6 times. Caden Curry 3, Cade McDonald with a couple of himself. Williams still an impressive 18 of 22 passing, but how did Ohio State bother him where other teams were unable to?
Probably from not overrunning plays and certainly kind of being a little patient to see, because you could see when he started to move, and not only that, but when he did make his movements to get, to keep plays open to throw those balls, you could see his ability. But once there were open field situations or when he did start to run, there were Ohio State players that just seemingly had the right amount of patience to be in position to make the, what they call it, breakdown.
Yeah.
They were ready to do that.
I thought they dominated their offensive line, and that's how you stop a quarterback and, from running or anything. Now, they did have, Coleman bust out and make a big gain. That was really the only long gain of the game on the rushing attack that, they were able to hold him to 61 yards. But, a lot of negative yards there. But I thought the way our defensive tackles, our 2 defensive ends dominated that offensive line. They got a lot of penetration, was able to kind of knock them off their track. There was really no place to go. And, obviously pass block is not very good if you give up 6 sacks in that game. And, again, and that has to match coverage. You have to have some coverage behind that. And Ohio State did to hold up those receivers long enough to keep him in that pocket and make a decision that, either run or take a sack here. And he couldn't bust away.
All right, flip side, staying with quarterback play, Julian Sand, 22 of 28, 208, couple of touchdowns. What did you like about Sand making his first road start?
Well, again, it's a broken record, but just how comfortable he seems to be out there, even if a play doesn't go well. The young man seems to, get right back at things and, spreading the ball around and taking advantage of the playmakers, something that Will Howard did a lot of last year, too. So a guy that, we saw a couple of games ago where he had those 2 interceptions in one game, forcing the issues. It seems, Skip, what he's done is he's learned from those situations.
Yeah, I thought, that first touchdown pass he had to Jeremiah was great design to kind of get him on a little drag route across the middle. When they were defending the end zone, he caught it outside the end zone, was able to run it in there. I thought the pass he had to Donaldson, that's a touchy situation there on 4th down. And, having your freshman, throw it out there to a running back, he put it right on the money, and CJ was able to come with it. I thought he showed great poise. What they say, poise in the noise. And, he was very good with that. He handled his operations well. Never once did he look like he was feeling pressure or, was erratic out there. I thought he was in total control the whole game.
All right, next. Red zone offense. I know everybody wants perfection. The coaches want perfection. Ohio State, 4 of 5, 3 touchdowns. Jim Lachey, the mindset down there better than anybody. Is 4 or 5 good enough? Or is one failed attempt enough to maybe still have some concern with anybody?
I think there's concern, because that's got to be an attitude. I mean, that's for your offensive line, man. You got a 4th and 1. We're getting this. I said this before in this show. Run my way. You got to have some offensive line putting his hand up in the air and say, hey, run it my way. I'm going to take my guy into the end zone. And you would think that they would have success running behind their left side of their offensive line. You got Austin Servell, Luke Montgomery. Both those guys have been starters, been here for a long time. Not sure Phillip Daniels and Tegra have both played a lot. But, it seems like those guys would be the power type side over there on the left side from what they've been able to accomplish and the strength that they have. But it has to be something where that offensive line just begs for it. Hey, run the ball. You don't need to throw. We're going to do it. So a lot of it's mental, mindset, and then you got to go out there and just have the attitude that we're going to get this done. So that's something you want to work on, because that'll cost you a game if you can't score. When you get that close and you got 4th and 1 situations, you got to have the ability to convert.
All right, next. The other thing that can cost you games is turnovers, especially on the road. Paul, Ohio State kind of got away with one, limiting to Washington to just a field goal after Brandon Innis's fumble, after a really nice return, by the way, to give Washington the ball back. My question is, did it seem to you like Ohio State tried to involve Innis maybe a little bit more after that, just to allow him to shake things off a little bit.
It certainly did, and he was able to respond and do well, and did well in subsequent punt return situations. But by and large, Ohio State's done a very good job of taking care of the football. They weren't able to get a turnover in that game, so the crazy thing, Skip, you don't often see a team win a football game when they're on the wrong side of the turnover count.
And you rarely see the head coach get 2 15-yard penalties, like they had on that drive, before they had to punt the football. I mean, they had them backed up. It was 4th and 13, and next thing you know, they have another penalty, backs them up again. 4th and 10, they got to punt the ball away, and we're going to have great field position if he just fair catches, but he decided to return it, and the ball popped out at the end, so gave it right back to him, and then there's a little bit of concern. You're like, okay.
But you like how they got him back involved.
Exactly. They had to. They had to, throw some passes to him and make sure that he feels like, he could be part of the solution instead of part of the problem.
You brought up the penalties, especially on the sideline. Were they warranted in your opinion? Now, the one, obviously, if you get in the road of an official, they're going to throw it all the time. But was arguing warranted?
Well, I think he came out a little bit too far in the field. He's almost out to the numbers there. The first time, usually that's a warning, a sideline warning. How many times have we heard that over the years? But no, they were adamant that they were going to penalize them, and, back-to-back situations like I said, we've been doing this a long time. I don't think I remember seeing
not substantive. We've seen it in individual situations, but not back-to-back like that.
No, that was so
like
surprising.
baseball. Baseball, you say the magic word, and all of a sudden, you get...
That must have been what it was.
I don't think I could think of
that. And plus, like Jim said, being out on the field too far.
All right. We always do this. Rate the opponent. Washington seems to have some pieces in place. How do you think the Huskies will fare the rest of the way?
They have injury concerns. They played without probably their best linebacker that played for a second straight game without a starting cornerback. And then they had 2 linemen, one on each side, get hurt in that football game. So I think injuries could be a factor, especially in the offensive line, because as Tony Castricone told us, they were probably the worst defensive line last year in the conference. They're a little bit better this year, but I think injuries are going to have a lot to do with how they look going forward.
Yeah, I thought Ephesians Pricelock did a nice job. He's a good football player,
and
number
McLaughlin,
7.
the safety.
Yeah, and you're right. He had 13 tackles in that game. Leroy Bryan stepped up and made some plays. They are a little thin on that defensive line, especially when they lost Duffy out there, or Duffy, when he got banged up. They had a couple injuries, obviously on that offensive side too as the game went on. So it is some concerns, but I think this is a team capable of winning, maybe 8-9 football games, which would be a step in the right direction from where they were last year.
We got a couple of seconds. They call it the greatest setting in college football. We've been there before, but what'd you think?
Loved it. It's it was a great weather day, which helps, but that is the most scenic setting of a college football stadium you will see, and the folks who went there would agree. Wouldn't you guys agree?
And a lot of people went, so that was good to see a lot of Scarlet in the crowd. No, to have lunch Friday on Lake Washington and then, call a game overlooking Lake Washington on Saturday, it really doesn't get any better. And 72,000 or something at that ball game. So it was their largest attended game since the 2010 game they played Nebraska. So the fans showed up, and it was a good setting.
The remodel with the windows open made a huge difference, in my opinion, for the last 2
Press box is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, couple of wild games in the Big Ten from this past weekend. We'll break it down for you next as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready? It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
True North convenience stores are your coffee and fountain champions. Fuel up your game day with True Rewards. Buy 6 True Brew coffees or True Oasis fountain drinks and get your 7th free. Whether you're heading to a game or watching from home, grab a True Brew coffee or an ice-cold True Oasis fountain drink to keep you going all 4 quarters. Find True Rewards in your app store or visit TrueNorthStores.com to get started. True North convenience stores. Fast, friendly, clean. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Ohio State back from Washington. They will host Minnesota coming up this Saturday night. Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's time for the Buckeye Roundtable Big Ten Breakdown.
Way out to the right, Vincent goes right. Victoria Moore comes left. And back. Going to throw. Step up away from the rush. Throws it. Got him wide open at the 10. 2-yard line. Touchdown. Gary Bryant Jr. on the first offensive play. And how about Dante Moore escaping the rush? Aller going to throw. Steps back. Swings it down. It is intercepted. Oregon pick. Ducks win. Ducks win. Interception by Dylan Thieneman. That means Penn State can't answer the score, and Oregon has ended it with an interception in the second overtime.
Jerry Allen on Learfield. Oregon wins it, as he says, in double OT, 30-24.
You see why everybody was so hot on Dylan Thieneman when he decided to transfer from Purdue. But, you know, this game has got a couple of different angles to it. Oregon, certainly how well they have played, not losing a regular season game since they've come into the Big Ten Conference and going on the road and winning in an atmosphere that we've seen before. It's easy for people to pile on Penn State and Drew Aller. They played well enough to come back from behind to be able to get this game into overtime. But everybody knows what the talking points will be, is that they can't get the big one.
Yeah, it was 17-3, and it looked like Oregon's going to run away, and then they came back to tie it up to get it into overtime. And, you know, they gave that great old collegiate try, but they just haven't finished it. And, you know, James Franklin, I mean, we saw it there last year when we played them. You know, they had 4 shots at the 3-yard line to get a touchdown. Our defense stops them. Ohio State gets the ball back and, you know, runs out the clock and just, you know, in a crazy crowd. We know how loud that place is. It was a whiteout. They did a great job with that. And it was, you know, the fans were fantastic, but they're leaving that stadium after a big-time opponent games the last 10 times or so with the loss. And it's got to be I think James Franklin said it best because I'm accepting this. We got to do something different, but talking about it ain't going to get it done.
They can't blame this one on noon. There's no doubt about that.
No, they can't.
But Penn State's a really good football team. They played a heck of a game. I guess the thing to keep in mind that I wrote down is they're playing really good opponents throughout this stretch,
Well,
too.
and, that's part of it, and there's still opportunities there for them, much like there was last year if they lost to Ohio State.
The other note I wanted to ask you guys about was there was a non-targeting call in the first overtime that was clearly lowered helmet into helmet. They're now using what's called a hairline reference when it's helmet to helmet. I mean, whose hairline are they talking about here? Because to me, it was like, how in the world is that not targeting, Jim?
Well, I was watching that at the airport there in Seattle, and I was thinking, I go, why isn't that targeting? I mean, we've seen it called against Ohio State players for a lot less than that. But all of a sudden, the hairline,
more than that.
the hairline, and all of a sudden he's now a runner, because he's taken a step. He's turned into a runner. That's like it's a 50-50 call. I don't know how they ref that.
Now, they could go back and look at that and after the fact administer it, where that player could end up being suspended for the first half of the next game.
But it doesn't change the yardage.
No.
Right. All right, to Iowa City next. Could the Hawkeyes slow down Indiana?
Here's the snap. Here's the throw. Catch is made. Hit a break. Down the middle of the field goes Surratt. Touchdown! And Indiana scores a 49-yard pass play and a break by Elijah Surratt that broke a tackle, and he takes it into the end zone.
Don Fisher on Learfield. Hoosiers get their biggest test to date. They beat Iowa 2015.
If it not would be for Jeremiah Smith, maybe people would talk about Elijah Surratt more. We saw last year, he's an outstanding receiver, and especially the way he weaseled out of that hold to score that. And how about Fernando Mendoza having to apologize to people as far as the betting aspect when he took a safety late in the game to help kill some of the time? That's the world we live in.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was kind of odd to see him run 40-some yards backwards.
It was like Sam White that cost the Bengals a game just run around. What are you doing?
I understand.
Killing the times he was trying to do.
What if he trips and falls down?
The time was running.
It was running down. If he falls down, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
The game should be over, right? It goes down on the sack as soon as they touch him. But for whatever reason, I don't know if he thought he was going to fall, fumble the ball, somebody pick it up and run. It's still alive. But yeah, I mean,
it affected the spread.
It sure did.
Yeah,
and Iowa might have lost their quarterback.
I know.
Gronowski looks like he's injured or nicked up. So we'll see how that goes. I think they have a bye week. They still have Oregon and Penn State on their schedule. So it's tough to play at Kinnick. I think Indiana found that out, but they found a way to win at the end.
To Champaign, where Illinois hosted USC, it came down to the end.
The snap, the hold, the kick, in the air, end over end, and it's good! It is good! Victory, Illinois! David Alano being mobbed by his teammates. The Illini win it 34-32.
Brian Barnhart on Learfield. Back and forth game. Illinois hands SC their first loss, as Brian said, 34-32.
Impressive comeback for the Illini after they just got taken to the woodshed last week at Indiana. But how about Luke Altmaier? He catches a touchdown pass as well as the other ones he was responsible for. I believe this is the sixth comeback that he has engineered since he's been the quarterback in Champaign.
Never say die, and I think that's a good quality to have for a quarterback to be able to make the plays. Got him down there, for a 41-yard field goal. But that was the first time the Illini had ever defeated USC in Champaign. Now, I think they only played like 6 times prior, but USC dominated.
That many.
Yeah, me too.
But that was the first time that they were able to beat them. So pretty good to see.
To Minneapolis, another wild game as Minnesota hosted Rutgers.
Lindsey on a straight drop, waiting, fires, it is caught at the 1, reaching forward, touchdown! Javon Tracy reaching with that left hand, his second receiving touchdown of the year.
Mike Grimm on Learfield. Minnesota pulls this one out to beat Rutgers 31-28.
Now, they played without their top 2 rushers, and their rushing numbers were pretty paltry. But give Minnesota credit.
Non-existent.
Yeah,
but
like, Minnesota is able to get this victory. And Rutgers, who is known under Greg Schiano for outstanding special teams play, had a field goal blocked early. They fired the kicker, Patel, went to a backup kicker, later in the game, and he missed a field goal that could have made a difference in the outcome. So I think it's back-to-back games. Rutgers has had kicking problems.
Yeah, back-to-back games that they've lost now in the Big Ten when they've had lead in the fourth quarter and couldn't hold on to that lead to win the game to close it out. They've had leads in both their Big Ten games and end up losing them. So lucky they hung on against Ohio. Otherwise, that would have been 3, those type of games. But Minnesota, give them credit. They got a young quarterback. They had Brosmer last year, right?
And this guy sat behind him and has done well.
Drake Lindsay.
Freshman of the week in the Big Ten this week.
Exactly. I think he's a guy that, has learned a lot being the backup last year and is starting to make plays and have some confidence.
We'll talk about him later, but, Paul, you brought it up. I want to say 16 yards is what Minnesota rushed for on Saturday.
Yeah, and again, their top 2 running backs were injured, so that's something that's not going to do well, especially going on the road and playing a team like Ohio State.
We'll see them Saturday night. Final stop, Evanston, where Northwestern hosted UCLA.
3:45 to go first half. First and goal at the 10. Stone looks it over. Fakes the give, throwing end zone, touchdown! There's Griffin Wilde on a slant for his first Wildcat touchdown. And the Wildcats extend the lead with 3:33 to go in the half.
Dave Ennett on Learfield. Wildcats hold off UCLA 17-14.
I wonder if they celebrated in the man cave that we were at back in the spring.
They did. Somebody did.
Yeah, somebody. Oh, we know who did. But, Northwestern had a 17-0 lead in this game.
Yeah.
But they hang on to get the victory. And, give David Braun's team credit. They're still kind of rebuilding a little bit. But and UCLA coming in the lame duck situation they are in. But, Northwestern, maybe this is something that gives them a shot in the arm going forward.
Griffin Wild for the Wildcats. How about that? Had a touchdown, 98 yards on 7 receptions. I thought he was very, very effective. In their passing game was very good. But, boy, got to be a low point for the Bruins.
This week, besides Minnesota at Ohio State, we have Wisconsin at Michigan. Purdue hosts Illinois. Penn State out west at UCLA. Washington all the way back cross country at Maryland. Michigan State is at Nebraska. Northwestern will host Louisiana Monroe. And you take a look at the rankings of Big Ten, still with 4 teams in the top 10, 6 in the top 25.
It'll be interesting to see how Washington responds. And what does Maryland have cooking? We've seen this movie before. Undefeated in non-conference play. They go to Wisconsin and they get an impressive win against the Badgers, but can they keep it going?
And the Huskies weren't good last year when they traveled on the road. Now they got to win, against Washington State in the Apple Cup. But, going coast to coast, I don't think they won in the Eastern time zone last year. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Again, Ohio State beats Washington on Saturday. They will host Minnesota coming up on Saturday night. Up next, we are scheduled to be joined by Ohio State coach Ryan Day as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Toyota gives you the power of choice. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on a stylish new 25 Corolla or 5.75 on Corolla Hybrid. Excludes Corolla Cross and GR Corolla. Or lease a gas-powered 25 Corolla LE for $199 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. Ohio State defeats Washington on Saturday 24-6. Joined for a few minutes now by Ohio State coach Ryan Day. His comments are presented by Kroger. And, Coach, you keep looking at these defensive numbers for your team from Saturday. 6 sacks on a mobile quarterback. You hold Washington to 1 of 11 on third down. You only give up 6 points to a team that was averaging 55-plus coming in. When you broke the game down afterwards, was the video as impressive as those numbers indicated? I mean, what a great performance by your football team.
Well, I think the first thing you look for is effort. And, traveling across the country, first road environment, and they had a great environment there. And shout out to all the Buckeye fans who were there because we had a great presence, and that certainly helped our team. But the first thing you look at is effort. And I thought the effort was excellent. I thought guys were running all over the field, playing physical. The next thing you look for is execution. And we had just about everybody grayed out on defense, a champion in that game. And so when you're getting great effort and you're getting great execution, you're going to get great results like that. And so I thought the guys did a great job executing the game plan and then executing in situations, because up until that point, Washington was really flawless in situational football, third down and in the red zone.
Coach, it seems like these games are moving faster. I mean, that was a 2-hour and 55-minute game. You guys had a couple long drives, but I think I counted 7 possessions, that you had opportunities out there. You had a 14-play drive that took 7.40 off the clock. You went for a TD. But knowing that, you're resting your defense, you're keeping them fresh, and you're kind of condensing the game. And if your defense is playing the way it is and you're scoring on offense, you don't need 80 plays anymore.
Well, the number one goal is to win the game. And as we start to acquire different ways to play the game, we're going to try to identify what gives us the best chance to do that. We really only had 6 possessions. Actually, the last one was really just got the first down, and then we took the knee or ended the game there. But, we lost the possession in the first half with the fumble on the special teams. But I thought we did a good job in the middle 8. And then we held the ball. They only had 3 possessions in the second half, and we held the ball for over 20 minutes. And so when you can do that, when your defense is playing the way it is, you're in control of the game. And I felt like we were in control of the game, and a huge part of that is getting first downs, running the football. Like I told the team, we jump out to a faster start and finish off a few of those drives better. The scoreboard looks a lot different. But when you're playing a game where you only have 6 possessions, you have to be very efficient. And that's an important part of it. Now, not every game is going to get played like that, but we felt like that was the right play, especially the way our defense was playing.
And Skip asked you at the beginning, Coach, about the pass pressure and the sacks and all of those things, but was this as good an example as there have been of all 3 levels of the defense working well in concert with one another?
Well, we're only 4 games in, but that's what we're looking for. And when you look at the way that Williams was in the pocket. It was clear to see that the coverage was excellent because he had to, double or triple pump. And then the rush lanes were really disciplined in terms of understanding how to corral him, keep him in the pocket, and then that led to a bunch of sacks and a bunch of TFLs. So I think the guys are understanding it, what we're trying to get done, and their confidence is building each week.
Great to see the game that Caden Curry had, and also Caden McDonald. But Caden's a guy that's worked hard for a lot of years here, and he maybe didn't get as much playing time as he wanted. But this year, he's starting to show everybody in the country now what he can do. I think people here in Columbus and guys that went to practice and watched and know football know that he was a valuable football player last year too. But now the whole country knows it, and certainly Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. But you got to be proud for a guy like that that's put in the hard work and starting to reap the benefits.
Yeah, there's no question. And like everybody, he's got his own journey. He's had his ups and his downs, but he stuck with it. And as we all know, that's a huge part of having success in this game is being resilient and pushing through the difficult times and maximizing yourself, believing in yourself. This game will teach him a lot of amazing lessons. And Caden's a great example of somebody that has put the hard work in. He's a great teammate. He's done a lot of great things on special teams. And now you're seeing him play at a very high level. And the production is, significant. Obviously, he broke a record last Saturday. And, he's playing his best football right now.
When things don't go the way they're drawn up, is the composure your team has shown, Coach, has that been one of the strong points of this clip this year?
Yeah, I would say that there's a composure to the team for sure. I think they're edgy, they're competitive. I think we talked about this in the preseason when we talked about what are the things you recognize with this group. The thing we didn't know is when they were in this environment, of these competitive games, how they would respond to success or, like you said, failures. But there's no panic with this team. They just keep going. They believe in what's going on. They believe in each other, and that's a good sign. You've heard me say this a million times, got a long way to go, and we've got to get better. But there are certain traits and characteristics that we're seeing with this team that you need in order to reach the goals that we're trying to get to.
And you're starting to see some of those good traits out of your quarterback, Julian Saying. That touch pass he had to throw to C.J. Donaldson, that's not easy when you're trying to get in the end zone there, but he put it right on the money. And, a lot of his passes were right on the money when you're completing almost 80% of your passes. But I can see his growth, and I know you can see his growth that he's had these first 4 games. And like I said, it's early, but he's on a good track.
Yeah, I agree. And there was a few things in the game, like his scramble to get us into field goal range on 3rd and long after we found ourselves behind the sticks. He had to throw the ball away a couple times, drifted on that 3rd down when they brought zero pressure and understood what was going on, bought himself a ton of time, found a passing lane there to Jeremiah, really threw the ball to Max Clare on that play action, just right on the money. And, Max did a great job, getting a foot in bounds. Just having the composure of going into an environment like that on the silent cadence for the first time, that's not something that, as you know, is easy. And I thought, Carson and Luke, the guys up front, and obviously Julian handled that part of it well.
As you get ready for this weekend, Coach, a quick word, if you would, on Minnesota, and also appreciating being at home after having been in the environment you were in and knowing that you're going to be in 2 more road environments after this game.
Yeah, good reference point for our team, but good to be back home. Can't wait for a night game. It doesn't take long to be away before you miss being at home, and it's going to be great to get a game back with everybody here. I know we had great fans out in Washington, and could just feel the support being out there. And there's a lot of excitement around this team right now. So expecting an electric atmosphere Saturday night. But Minnesota's well coached. I got a lot of respect for PJ and what he does and how hard his team plays. And they're going to come in here and give us everything they have. And so it's going to be a great week of preparation for us.
Yeah, it looks like they got a young quarterback in Lindsay that's playing well and starting to grow up too in front of, after getting a little bit more game experience under it. So you got 2 young quarterbacks going at it here, redshirt freshmen.
Yeah. Yep. And, they had a big win. And they're gaining confidence. And so, we're in the Big Ten now. So here we go. Every conference game is going to be a battle.
Coach Ryan Day, we always appreciate your time. We'll see you Thursday for your radio show, okay?
Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
All right, Coach's comments presented by Kroger. Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. He said, a long way to go. I was thinking Jerry Reed. He's going to put a short time to get there. Up next, we will hit the red zone with Tim May. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AEP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Coach Cooper will be back with us coming up next week. For every Buckeye touchdown scored this season, the Heartland Bank Community Foundation will make a donation to the USO of Central and Southern Ohio, benefiting our active duty military personnel and their families. For more information or to support our troops, go to usocso.org and be the force behind the forces.
Buckeye Roundtable Red Zone.
Joined for a few minutes inside the red zone by longtime Ohio State beat reporter Tim May. And Tim, there were some obvious unknowns about this Ohio State defense coming into the season with new starters, a new coordinator. How impressed are you to date with what Matt Patricia and that defense continue to show to date?
Oh, I want to see more. No, I'm just messing with you. Obviously, I'm quite impressed. The main thing you're impressed with is the way the defensive line has stepped up. I was telling somebody, I walked up to Larry Johnson on the field right after the game was over, in the middle of the field, and I said, man, this guy coaching these defensive linemen, he must be a genius. And he turned around and put his fingers to his lips like, keep it a secret. But the way they played, especially, I mean, when you've got Caden Curry and Caden McDonald's, the two Cadens going off like they did, it just disrupts what the other team wants to do in all kinds of ways. And that was the case on Saturday. So the way they picked up where they left off, really, from a gusto standpoint, and then add in this spice, all this spice that Matt Patricia brought with him, his coverage is quite impressive in what he's bringing to the program, so to speak.
Two young quarterbacks in this game. Julian Sain, we know him as a redshirt freshman, and, Damon Williams is, a sophomore. Played a little bit last year, but, you look at those two young guys and, head to head, I know who I want, Julian Sain. I thought this guy's really on a good track right now.
Yeah, you knew that going into the game, though. That was sort of a rhetorical question there a little bit, right, Jim? I mean, the thing about Damon is, I mean, this was the first real defense he's gone against, this year. And let's face it. And we talked about that for the pregame. I just thought that this defense would give him problems, not just in maybe confusing him a little bit, but more of like just not letting him do what he really wants to do, which is make you scared of the fact he could go at any moment, take off running. And the key phrase, key word that Caleb Downs used on Wednesday when we were talking to him before the game was basically keeping a cage around Damon Williams, and if he escaped, there'd be somebody there to pretty much handle him. So they did keep that cage around him. You heard Ryan Day refer to that term after the game too, but they did an excellent job of containing him. Boy, this week, though, it's a total different animal coming in here. That Drake Lindsey kid, he's about 6'5", 230, and he wants to stand there like a Statue of Liberty and just throw the ball. So totally different assignment, as you know, for the Ohio State defense from one week to the next.
So having said all of that, are we maybe not giving the back end of the defense as much credit, Tim, because of what the pass pressure's done?
No, I think what stands out a lot is the back end of the defense being where it's supposed to be from one play to the next. And, in the adjustment, the interesting thing is they hit some seam routes there or found some openings in the seams, especially on that first drive they had. But if y'all were paying, I know y'all always pay close attention, you and Jim and even Skip up there. But the bottom line is they did a really good job of closing up those seams, I think, as you watched as the game went on, but not losing the integrity of the over-the-top coverage. I'm talking about Ohio State's defense did. So I was quite impressed by those adjustments.
Every year we say this is, one of the best receivers in the history of Ohio State. Olave and Marvin and Emeka and, Garrett Wilson and
did we really,
Jackson Smith exhibit, but they all stand up. And now what Jeremiah Smith, he was the guy that, they definitely wanted to get the ball in his hands, and they found a way to do that. And now over 100 catches for his career, did it in 20 ball games, 19 TDs. These stats just keep adding up for him.
Hey, Jim, is really funny because, y'all know Graham Rahal. He's a big Ohio State fan, but more of like being pretty critical when things aren't going well. And he goes, what's going on? I said, he texted me. I'm imagining that's how he said it, like, what's going on with us? And I literally, I texted nothing that can't be solved by throwing the ball to number 4. And then I think about 2 minutes later, he catches that little drag route over the middle. Pretty much the same play they ran for the first touchdown against Oregon, where they brought him, he's behind the line of scrimmage, really, when he caught the ball or right at it and then cut it up. And it's almost like, no offense, Washington, but it's like you never saw that play on video, whereas they definitely had seen that play where Ohio State tried to score on his first possession. He got stuffed. That was the play Ohio State ran against Texas for the first touchdown. But yeah, Jeremiah Smith, man, when he gets going, he is a freight train, and look out.
Tim May, we always appreciate your time. I know you're still traveling back home, so be safe and safe travels. We'll see you later in the week, okay?
Yeah, I'm in the midst of a 5-hour layover in Nashville. It was supposed to be 2.5, so I'm very happy. I'm a very happy camper right now.
We know who you expense it to now, so
exactly.
There you go.
My wife's going to be very upset.
Tim May, we'll see you back home when you get safe travels back home to Columbus. All right, Tim May.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Skip.
Joins us inside the Buckeye Roundtable in the Red Zone every week. Hour number 1 now in the books. Coming up in our next hour, we'll talk some high school football right around the corner. Our Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Player of the Week Award, our American Dairy Association Mideast Top High School Performances, and our weekly Whip Around the State. We'll hit the sidelines with Tyler Danberg. Some wild stuff from this past weekend in the top 25. We'll discuss that. Our Insider's Access tonight, Joey Kaufman from the Columbus Dispatch will join us. All that and more. Hour number 2 of tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show here on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
James Peoples here, running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota, including the best-selling Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on any new 25 Camry, or lease a Camry LE from just $279 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Always and forever your Ohio State flagship station.
WBNS-FM HD1 Columbus.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Good evening
morning. I'm Tyler Danberg. Ohio State hosts Minnesota Saturday at 7:30. More Buckeye Roundtable continues next on the Fan. NFL tonight, Jets are at the Dolphins at 7:15, followed by the Bengals at the Broncos at 8:15. MLB postseason, Guardians host the Tigers in Game 1 of the AL Wildcard Series Tuesday at 1:08. Detroit's Tarek Skubal faces Cleveland's Gavin Williams. Cards manager Stephen Vogt on winning the AL Central.
No matter who you are, when you walk through the doors of this clubhouse, you're going to help us win. The team believes that, the coaches believe that, the front office believes that. We embrace people right away because you never know, and that's why everyone plays, that's why everyone pitches, because you're all a part of this.
Reds visit the Dodgers in Game 1 of the NL Wildcard Round Tuesday at 9:08. Cincy Ace Hunter Green starts against an LA starter yet to be announced. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, is on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome back, everybody, into this week's Buckeye Roundtable show with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Saturday, Ohio State will host Minnesota. More on that coming up. But right now, it is time to talk some high school football.
It's time for the Encova Insurance High School Player Award on Buckeye Roundtable.
One of the highlights of the Buckeye Roundtable show is the presentation of the Encova Insurance Archie Griffin Athlete of the Week Award. During each Roundtable show, Encova Insurance and the Ohio State Sports Network honor a high school athlete for their outstanding play and team leadership. And tonight's recipient is senior quarterback Cy Christensen from Amherst Steele High School up in Northeast Ohio. Friday night, Christensen was 17 of 21 passing, 235 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He also ran for another score as Steele knocked off Olmsted Falls 20-16. The Comets are coached by Tom Tomei. They're 3-3 and will play at Elyria on Friday night. Again, congratulations to Cy Christensen from Amherst Steele High School, the recipient of this week's Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Athlete of the Week Award. Encova Insurance, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtable's American Dairy Association Mideast top performers and our whip around the state.
And while that young man from Amherst Steele had a heck of a night, that was not the only top performers from this past weekend.
I got Lyndon McKinley quarterback DeVell Brock ran 14 times for 228 yards and a pair of long touchdowns, helping lead Lyndon McKinley past Grandview 19-13.
Oak Hills receiver Aaron McFarland caught 4 passes for 141 yards and a touchdown, and also scored on a 55-yard rushing touchdown as Oak Hills beat Hamilton 42-32.
Strongsville defensive tackle Austin Atkins recorded 6 sacks in Strongville's 42-14 win over Medina.
Bishop Watterson running back Jack McCoy, 21 carries, 121 yards, and 4 touchdowns as Watterson beat DeSales 42-7.
Brunswick quarterback Sean Barnett was 8 of 15 passing for 148 yards and added 62 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns as Brunswick beat Lorraine 39-18.
Talawanda running back Lance Cantrell, 23 carries, 174 yards, 4 touchdowns as Talawanda beat the Ross Rams 38-8.
All right. Olentangy Orch running back Lucas Fickle had 14 carries for 171 yards and 3 touchdowns as Orange blew out Hilliard Davidson 42-7.
Fairport Harding tight end and linebacker Diego Damblena had 3 receptions for 73 yards, 2 touchdowns on offense, while on defense, 20 tackles, 6 TFLs, a sack, a forced fumble, and he washed all the cars as Harding defeated their opponent for 19-14.
Pimatooning.
Thank you.
Pimatooning Valley.
Wasn't ready for that.
Sorry. You're ready for everything. I got Keels. Yeah.
You got him, yeah. Harrison Central quarterback Brady Heyer was 20 of 31 passing for 247 yards and a pair of touchdowns, and then added another 62 yards on the ground in Harrison Central's 30-14 win over Weir.
Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy quarterback Ridner Richard, 23 of 38 passing, 361 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Eagles' 31-29 win over Harrison.
Hawken quarterback Donovan Moorhead was 33 of 47, passing for 383 yards and 4 touchdowns in the Hawkins' 36-33 win over West Cuyahoga.
Lakota West kicker Kofi Adubafor kicked 2 field goals, including a 56-yarder, was 3 for 3 on PATs as Lakota East beat Middletown 27-13.
Heels knows every watering hole in every small town in this state. We're going to take you up
Possibly.
to Pimatooning next.
Learn a few new ones.
All right. Time for a weekly whip around the state. Big night in Tuscarawas County. Let's start there with WJER's Bill Hammerstrom.
Indian Valley senior running back Grady Kinsey became the school's all-time leading rusher Friday in a 56-0 win over Sandy Valley. Kinsey only carried the ball 4 times, but he scored each time he ran the ball, finishing with 195 yards and 4 touchdowns on just 4 carries. For his career, Kinsey has 6,963 yards. The Braves take on fellow IBC powerhouse Garaway this Friday. For WJER in Dover, I'm Bill Hammerstrom.
Huge numbers up in Cleveland as we welcome in WKNR's Kevin Arnold.
In a battle of schools separated by only 5 miles this past Friday, Bay outlasted Westlake 49-28. The win was thanks in large part to a strong first half from senior running back Rocco Hereditario. In the game, he amassed 400 all-purpose yards, which includes 196 rushing yards just in the first half and 4 touchdowns. Rocco and the Bay Rockets will look to build on this strong performance this week against Valley Forge. For WKNR in Cleveland, I am Kevin Arnold.
To Northwest Ohio, always some great performances there. Here's WNDH's Dave Kleck.
In a battle of unbeatens in the Green Meadows Conference, Paulding goes to 6-0 with a win over Fairview. Jalen Mann's a factor on both sides of the ball. He had 5 catches for 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and added 14 tackles on defense. And the Hoagie Tigers won on the road at Sebring McKinley. Wyan Stolnaker rushed for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns in the victory. From WNDH in Napoleon, I'm Dave Kleck.
Love tight games that come down to the end. We had one of those in Logan County. Here's WPKO's Chad Wilkinson.
Bellefontain's homecoming game against Kenton Ridge came down to the right foot of kicker Caden Folk as he nailed a 23-yarder in the 4th quarter to give the Chiefs a 23-21 win over the Cougars. Senior running back Carter Caudell had 28 carries for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, his season appears to be over as he left in the 4th quarter with a leg injury. The Chieftain defense came up big, forcing 4 Cougars turnovers. Bellefontain's now 3-3 and will take on the mighty London Red Raiders this Friday night. From 98.3 WPKO in Bellefontaine, I'm Chad Wilkinson.
Some really nice quarterback play in Greene County. Here's WING's Justin Kinner.
We're 6 weeks into the season, and the Xenia Buccaneers are on a roll at 5-1 following their 42-21 win over Piqua this past Friday night. The Bucs are led by a young sophomore quarterback in Gage Steffen, who had a huge night this past Friday, completing 21 of his 26 pass attempts for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns. His 3 touchdowns were delivered to 3 different receivers on the night. Following his progression has been fun to follow this season. Every week he has completed more passes and thrown for more yards than the previous weeks. For ESPN 1410 Wing AM, I'm Justin Kinner in Dayton.
Opposite side of the state, and a really good night on both sides of the ball in Washington County, as we hear from WMOA's Andy Rex.
Guys, Waterford quarterback Hayden Jones really is the team's Swiss Army knife as he used his legs Friday night to propel the Wildcats to a 28-13 win over Eastern. Jones carried the ball 24 times for 173 yards and a touchdown, and also was 6 of 13 passing for 75 yards and another score in the victory. Waterford moves to 4-2 on the year and wraps up a 3-game road trip this week with a second straight visit into Meigs County to take on the Southern Tornadoes. From WMOA in Marietta, I'm Andy Rex.
Some good young talent in Muskingum County as we check in with WHIZ's David Kinder.
Tri-Valley running back Levi Wade may be just a sophomore, but he's running like a veteran. And in Friday's win over the Maysville Panthers, he ran right into the record books. Wade carrying the ball 33 times for 281 yards and a school record 6 rushing touchdowns in a 57-27 win over Maysville. Through 6 games, Wade has already scored 17 touchdowns. His Scotties are now 4-2, and this Friday they'll travel to Warsaw to play winless Riverview. Reporting for WHIZ Radio in Zanesville, I'm David Kinder.
Final stop, some big nights in Knox County, and WMVO's Tyler Mathias.
Centerburg's Miles Marshall ran for 195 yards and 4 touchdowns, including a 71-yarder and a 49-yard touchdown in Centerburg's 47-7 win over Cardington on the road. Meanwhile, the K-Max top rusher Carson Barnum ran for 181 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mount Gilead 39-7 winners over East Knox. Marshall and Barnum have rushed for nearly 2,000 yards combined this season with 24 touchdowns, and they'll face off this Friday night. Centerburg hosts Mount Gilead for the top spot in the K-Mac. Both teams are 3-0 in the conference. Reporting from WQIO and WMVO out of Mount Vernon, I'm Tyler Mathias.
Great whip around the state. If you don't hear a kid from your area, call your local station and say, hey, what about Billy? What about John? What about Jim Lachey? All that kinds of great stuff. Home teams, fellas. You told us about Grandview. They fell the first loss of the year to Linda McKinley. How about St. Henry?
St. Henry won 45-0 over Minster to move to 5-1.
Moeller.
Another dazzling performance for the Crusaders. They beat LaSalle.
Hartley big over St. Charles. They will be at Walsh Jesuit coming up on Friday. Our top performers from around the state was presented by the American Dairy Association Mideast. A reminder from Ohio's dairy farmers, 8 ounces of delicious chocolate milk has 8 grams of protein with the power to fuel everyone, including Ohio State quarterback Tavian St. Clair. He's built like a Buckeye, and you can be too. Learn more at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/built like a Buckeye. Some wild games in the top 25 we will discuss after further review as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access.
The cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
Ready? It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club.
the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.75 on RAV4 Hybrid. Excludes plug-ins. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Somebody actually sent you a tavern in Pymatuning.
Causeway Lounge, as well as the Crooked Paddle.
Crooked Paddle.
Unbelievable. See, he knows them everywhere. How am I going to get through this? Join Coach Ryan Day and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. Game Time with Ryan Day, presented by Huntington Bank, airs Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and statewide on OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Buckeye Roundtable.
Greatest play is under further review.
After further review.
Play clock at 4 seconds. There's the snap. Diggs straight up the middle. He's in the end zone. The former LSU Tiger just stuck it to the former team with a TD right up the gut.
David Kellum on Learfield. Old Miss gets the big win they've been really waiting for a while. They knock off fourth-ranked LSU 24-19.
You know, everybody was worried when Jackson Dart left, but it set the stage for Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback of the Rebels. Now, LSU having trouble running the football, which they'd had before, too.
Don't ask him about his offense, Brian Kelly.
But here's the thing that Ole Miss has got. They've got back-to-back a couple of tough road games. I know at least one is Oklahoma, maybe at Alabama. So they've ascended, but let's see if they can stay there.
Yeah, Chambliss came in for the injured Austin Simmons, who, they lost him. Now he's got 3 straight 300-yard games. He had 385 yards of scrimmage yards. And who would have thought a Division II transfer would outduel Nussmeier in a game like that and beat LSU?
Next to Athens, huge game for Alabama as they were at 5th-ranked Georgia.
Simpson operating under center Brailsford. Play action, rolls the pocket right. Looking, firing, caught, touchdown Alabama. Isaiah Horton, wide open, back of the end zone. The second 6-yard touchdown pass of the night from Ty Simpson, and the Tide leads it 13-0.
Chris Stewart on Learfield. Really important game for Alabama. They hold off Georgia 24-21.
Anybody ever meets Chris Stewart, ask him to do his Gene Stallings impersonation. Anyway, here was the crazy
spot on too.
The crazy play in this game. And it'll be interesting to see if other coaches copy it. Ty Simpson, the quarterback, in the red zone, they threw a screen pass to a 366-pound offensive lineman that got him going.
Caden Proctor, who committed to Iowa, was at Iowa, and then he left. He's from Iowa. He left, went to Alabama, and then came back. Yeah, and then he's going to be a top draft pick when he decides to come out. But tackle eligible. I love that play.
We used to have an engineer that was 366. Got to go now, Skip. I got to go.
When he dieted.
Staying in the SEC, Texas A&M was trying to remain unbeaten as they hosted Auburn.
Le'Veon, touchdown. Aggies. Yes. That's how you start a game. Le'Veon plus KC plus Marcel equals 6.
Andrew Monaco on Learfield. A&M 4-0. They beat Auburn 16-10.
And if it weren't for all of the penalties, this could have been a more lopsided win for the Aggies. But Mike Elko's got a good thing going down there at College Station.
13 penalties for 119 yards in that game for A&M, and it didn't matter. They found a way to beat Auburn.
Wild game Friday in the ACC as Virginia hosted Florida State. It went to double overtime.
Morris rolling out to the right, looking towards the end zone. Morris trying to get to the pylon. He dives forward, and he's in! Touchdown, Virginia! Virginia brings the blitz. Castellanos in trouble. Hit as he throws. Hangs it up towards the end zone, and it's intercepted! All heaven has broken loose! The kids of the Commonwealth swallow the field. Virginia has taken down Florida State. I swear it's not a dream.
John Freeman, Virginia Network. Cavaliers hand Florida State their first loss, 46-38.
And this is after Virginia let a pretty good-sized lead get away in that football game. But, you know, everybody wants to focus on the issues Clemson's having. Tony White was their offensive coordinator. Left, and he's got Virginia going in a good spot. And, you know, Dabo Swinney lost both his coordinators in the last few years, and you see now why they were so important.
Yeah, and that's just a huge win for the Cavaliers. Florida State, they got Miami this week. They got them at home, and Virginia goes to Louisville this week.
People wondered if that would be a trap game for Florida State.
Yeah.
Staying in the ACC, another overtime game as Georgia Tech was trying to remain perfect as they were at Wake Forest.
Unbalanced line right, King by himself in the backfield. Beatham crabs left and settles. Snap to King, hesitates, runs left, plowing for the goal line, and he squeezes through for the touchdown.
Andy Dermetra, Georgia Tech Network, they hang on against Wake in OT, 30-29.
You know, don't be surprised if Haynes King keeps playing the way he is. He starts getting some serious, not only Heisman consideration, but maybe some Heisman votes, the way he's hurting teams both throwing and running the football.
Georgia Tech, first time they're 5-0 since 2014. Man, it's been a long time. They got some good football playing right now in Georgia Tech.
Final stop is Fayetteville as Notre Dame tried to climb back to 500 as they played at Arkansas.
Carr rolling right, now going to throw back left to Love. He's got a catch and a convoy down the near sideline, waiting for blocks at the 20, cuts inside of the 10. Here comes the speed, and Love's in. Touchdown, Notre Dame. What a design, and what a run by Love after the catch. 34 yards to the house.
Tony Simeone, Notre Dame Network, Irish roll 56-13.
Well, you knew that Love was going to have to be a factor in any success that Notre Dame had. And really, it was their first game where he seemed to be underutilized, but now you see the effect.
C.J. Carr throwing 4 touchdown passes. That's a freshman record for Notre Dame, and, you know, they've been playing football there for a long time, and Razorbacks are looking for a new coach after that.
Well, they've got their former coach as their interim coach,
How about that?
Bobby Petrino.
How about that?
I asked you guys off the air earlier tonight. I mean, are you surprised at the number of coaching changes? We're still in September.
Well, you know, Skip, some of it I think is the fact that, and you never know if this is part of the consideration, but for players to be able to get in the portal and leave after a coaching change. But I think what we've seen, even though it hasn't been this much this early in recent years, but schools seem to want to get in front of, number one, potential candidates, but also get the money people behind them to say, okay, you seem to think we needed to make a change. Now, what are you willing to pony up to get who you think we should get?
Pittman was probably thinking, you want to fire the defense coordinator at halftime after giving up 42 points there in the first half and never got the chance.
This week, only 2 games involving teams from the top 25 matching up with each other. Vanderbilt at Alabama, payback from last year. And Jim mentioned Miami is at Florida State, so curious to see how that will come about. Florida State coming off their first loss. Miami's really looked great all year.
And, you know, the interesting part about all of that, too, Skip, is, and there was talk earlier in the season, those 3 Florida schools, Florida State, Florida, Miami, with the way the scheduling is going to be done now, will some of those games go away?
Coming up, we'll hit the sidelines. Tyler Danberg will join the show as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Donato's Pep Duo Pizza is back, and it brought a pal. The Donato's Pep Duo, loaded with crispy pepperoni and 3 kinds of cheese. Now get a large Pep Duo pizza for just $14.99. Also back, Donato's deliciously dippable pepperoni cheese bread. Now on the $5 Pizza Pals menu for a limited time. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's, gotta love more.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day concert series presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer before every home game this season outside of St. John Arena in Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board and book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Buckeyes and beat cancer.
This is the Elk and Elk Report on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
And, Jim, we said before the game that too deep on the D-line would see a lot of rotation, and, man, did that pay off or what at Washington?
No, and that's it. I mean, you got to play a lot of guys on that defensive line. That's been Larry Johnson's, go-to for the last 11 years he's been here at Ohio State. We've always seen him rotate a lot of guys in and out, and you saw that again. And, he's playing just different spots. I mean, you saw Caden Curry line up at defensive end, defensive tackle, nose guard. It doesn't matter. Wherever he lines up, he's dangerous. And what that does to an offensive line is that usually the left tackle is studying one guy. Mm-hmm. Now you got to study 3 or 4 different guys. So it makes your preparation for the week before you play an opponent a little bit tougher because you have to get ready for so many different looks. And right now with Larry and Matt Patricia lining up, dialing up different looks, whether it's a 5-man front with, 3 guys covering up the guards in the center, 2 guys on the outside, with its Arvell Reese, popping in, bobbing into each and every gap, changes your protections. They're doing a good job of mixing up, and, by having the ability to have that many guys ready, makes it hard on an offensive line, and you're starting to see that pay off.
Paul, nobody cares what we do, but is it tough for you when guys are lining up at different positions or whatever on the defensive side? I mean, I know you're looking mostly following the ball, but when guys are switching around on defense.
No, not necessarily, but but that was a game last Saturday where it was easy to notice, and just because of how active Caden Curry was, a couple times he even said to Jim, look, he's playing inside rather than on the end.
Our Two Deep report was presented by Elk and Elk. Serious fans of Ohio State athletics, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Go Buckeyes.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtables from the Sidelines Report on the Ohio State Sports Network.
And speaking of that D-line play, after the game, our Tyler Danberg spoke with Caden Curry.
After a 4-tackle-for-loss performance, a pair of sacks, Caden, what was today like for you and the defense?
Overall, the defense just played really well. We played really good to stop the run, and we did our job caging the quarterback, and luckily he just came my way and I made my play.
This environment has not seen a road win in 4 years, but when you look and you see the Ohio State fans around the stadium, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it didn't even feel like an away game. We had so much red in that crowd, and it felt like it was home away from home, and we could feel them. We could definitely just feel the energy from them.
What felt different today for you?
I mean, not much. I mean, during the scouting report, we knew our opportunity to make plays was going to be there, and we knew that we could take advantage of those calls and those defenses, and we did.
Thank you, Caden. Guys, upstairs to you.
Guys, again, can't talk about it enough about how well Ohio State's defense played against a team that was, averaging 55-plus a game against a quarterback that we heard was just going to make life miserable on any defense that he saw.
That's the part that's amazing, Skip, is this is a quarterback who could make broken plays turn into successful plays for their offense. But to be able to keep him caged in like that, and to be able to get as many opportunities as they had. And not only just Caden Curry, there was the, late in the game, there was the one play where Caden McDonald basically reached with one arm and tripped up the quarterback to keep him from getting it. Because if he doesn't get him off balance there, he might get 5 or 10 yards upfield. So it was very, very impressive the way they were able to get there and get there so quickly and so often.
And that's why you play depth. Caden McDonald had some flashes last year. Now you see him starting to come on his own. Caden Curry, same thing, had flashes last year. Now he's becoming an all Big Ten type defensive end. To have 8 new starters on that defense, the guys returning were Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and Davidson Igmanos, and all the rest of the guys are all first-year starters. And to see what they're doing, number one in the country in points at 5.5 points per game, just gave up 2 field goals and no red zone touchdowns. They had 2 long touchdowns that they've given up, and that's it. So it's been fantastic to watch these guys go out and perform each and every week, and every week they get a little bit better. And Arvell Reese, he's moving up the draft boards right now. He is playing lights out.
You mentioned tripped up. Did you guys happen to notice the one Washington kid that when he tripped and fell that was out there? He tripped over the cutout that was where the Big Ten, where the Big Ten logo was there on the field there. We'll get into more of this during our Chalk Talk segment coming up. But what are some, offensive challenges you feel Minnesota will present to this Ohio State defense?
Well, it seems as though while they've had difficulty running the football, and some of that may be tied to their injuries, throwing the football and what Drake Lindsey has done has been a good thing for them. Lemeke Bropkington, who seems like he's been there forever. I think he was playing in that Thursday night game when we were up there. They've got deep threats. They've always had deep threats. But they've really been able to get some consistent quarterback play, and that's what's kind of helped them.
Minnesota, you think smash mouth football, right?
Yeah, usually.
Remember last time we were there, they had 6, 7, 8 offensive linemen lined up and just say, we're going to just blow you off the ball and run the football. And, now with the injuries they've had to running backs, they've had to come up with a new formula. And they've done that with a, first-year starting quarterback in Drake Lindsey, who, again, he's more of a pocket passer. He's not going to break out and run. At 6'5", 230, he's probably got the ability to do that, but just hasn't shown a lot of that so far this year. So give P.J. Fleck and his team credit for finding a way to come back in that game. Rutgers was winning that in the fourth quarter, and they found a way to win it.
More on Ohio State's win over Washington, a look ahead to Minnesota, and this past weekend around the Big Ten with Joey Kaufman of the Columbus Dispatch. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
True North convenience stores are your coffee and fountain champions. Fuel up your game day with True Rewards. Buy 6 True Brew coffees or True Oasis fountain drinks and get your 7th free. Whether you're heading to a game or watching from home, grab a True Brew coffee or an ice cold True Oasis fountain drink to keep you going all 4 quarters. Find True Rewards in your app store or visit TrueNorthStores.com to get started. True North convenience stores. Fast, friendly, clean. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Toyota has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than anyone else, like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through September 30th, get a new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander with 4.75 APR financing. Or you can get 5.75 APR financing on hybrid models with approved credit through TFS. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hear every Buckeye game every year. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. Saturday, Ohio State held Washington to 2 of 3 scoring on trips inside the 20. No touchdowns, just the 2 field goals. This defensive summary is brought to you by Anduril, whose mission is to transform U.S. military capabilities through advanced technology. Anduril, an official sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Roundtable Insiders.
Joined for a few minutes now by Joey Kaufman, who covers the Buckeyes for the Columbus Dispatch. And Joey, I know everybody's talking about the Buckeye D following Saturday's game, so let's instead start you with the offense. Game plan kind of remind us a little bit about what we saw in the opener against Texas, which is okay. I mean, definitely got a little more open in the second half, although Ohio State did eat a lot of clock. Just your thoughts on Ohio State offensively that we saw there in Seattle.
It's been an interesting season for Ohio State's offense because in some of these bigger games, they have played at a much slower pace where they're less likely to maybe push tempo or take deep shots. They've controlled the game. Ohio State ran just a smidge over 60 plays. So it reminds me of the style we saw them at times last year during the regular season, where even though you have this explosive offense and you have this wide receiver group where you would think maybe you could take some shots in the vertical passing game, they've been very methodical and they've just controlled the game. And they did open things up a little more in the second half as they're coming out very run heavy. But that seems to be the way they're kind of managing the regular season is to go the slower, deliberate, control the game flow.
Joey, what are you making of the work of the 3 running backs we're seeing to this point?
Bo Jackson has certainly moved his way up the depth chart in a matter of weeks, because we knew he was probably going to get a heavier work share after the back-to-back 100-yard rushing performances. But to get 17 carries, which is clearly the feature back in a rotation where the next guy gets 9, and C.J. Donaldson shows, I think, the level of trust they have in his ball security going on the road and playing a team that's tough to beat at home. So I think that spoke volumes of just how much they trust Bo Jackson, even as a true freshman, only appearing in his third game because he didn't play in that Texas opener, didn't get out for a single snap. So much has changed in a matter of weeks where he looks the guy leading the rotation.
Couple special teams issues. Obviously, Ohio State, had the punt return fumble. Brandon Ennis, trying to make a play, had a great return going and just coughed up the football. And then on defense, when they went for the field goal, they went for the fake, had that covered up perfect. That was probably not a good decision there. And then how about Jaden Fielding? 8 consecutive field goals going back to last year in the Rose Bowl. He's on a little bit of a run right now.
Yeah, a lot of I think for all those areas of the special teams phase, outside of the punt return, which has been, I think, an issue that's bugged Ryan Day for a couple weeks now. They've looked good on special teams, but he pointed that out as a red flag after the Grambling game where they let the ball kind of roll to the turf. And I think they had maybe 7 punts that game and only fair caught or fielded 3 of them. So that is the one area of special teams they would like to certainly clean up. You think about some of those other plays you mentioned. I think they certainly have to like some of the other phases of special teams right now.
When you look at what Julian Sand has done through 4 games, what jumps into your mind, Joey?
Just his ability, I think, to react to stuff is impressive. And then that was probably most evident on the road this past weekend, where Washington's going to send some different blitzes and things like that. You think about the first touchdown he threw to Jeremiah Smith, where there's a rusher coming off the edge, and he identifies it really quickly and immediately looks to Jeremiah Smith and finds him running open. So I think just managing some of the chaos has been impressive. We knew he had the arm talent and the mechanics and the smooth release and the ability to make a lot of the throws. But I think for only a second-year guy or redshirt freshman to be able to react quickly with the game speed and process things is impressive.
Arvell Reese waited behind Cody Simon last year, and Cody had a heck of a year for Ohio State. But what Arvell was able to do in his first 4 games has been off the charts, and you kind of like, why wasn't he out there earlier?
I think about the one of the first plays that Ohio State had, and in the first half where it was a third down, and then DeMond Williams Jr. is scrambling, and normally that's the case where they're close to the end zone. It's a broken play. The quarterback is mobile, can move, and you just see the closing speed he has to clean that up, and that's really nice to have at your second level of the defense.
Joey, while we're also focused on what Ohio State's done and everything, just a couple of things in regard to other teams in the Big Ten. Your take on the Oregon-Penn State game, and just anybody else that you see in the Big Ten that has kind of started to put themselves in that threatening level?
It feels like Indiana is more than just a one-hit wonder. The way they just stumped Illinois 2 weeks ago, and even to get a win on the road at Iowa, and largely the quarterback play, Fernando Mendoza, is probably in the conversation to be the best quarterback in the Big Ten. It's not all of college football. So I think their staying power at the top of the conference is really impressive. It's almost too bad we don't get to see Ohio State and Indiana meet in the regular season, maybe in December in Indianapolis, if the Hoosiers can handle the Ducks, who look like they have another promising young quarterback as well, and going to win on the road at Penn State this weekend.
How about Ryan Day's head coaching record? 74-10. That's 88.1%. That he's winning his games, winning percentage. He wins one more, he's going to be ahead of Newt Rockne. Now, he doesn't have 10 years in, but still, the amount of success that he's had in his first 7 years has been unbelievable.
Yeah, just the lack of volatility, I think, in his tenure speaks such volume. They just do not lose the games that they're supposed to win. I mean, even this weekend, they're only a single-digit favorite on the road at a place where Washington's won 22 in a row, and outside of a 3-0 lead, they never trail. I think you look at maybe Michigan lost last year. Michigan was unranked as an aberration, but it's the only time they've ever lost to an unranked opponent. And if you beat all the teams you're supposed to win and shoot 50-50 or better in the matchup games, you're going to have a pretty good winning percentage.
Yeah, Joey, Paul brought up Oregon-Penn State. I mean, really good game there Saturday between Oregon and the Nittany Lions. We know Penn State will still have opportunities, much like Ohio State did a year ago, but will that cloud of being unable to, I guess, win the big one start taking a toll on that team in your mind?
It could. I mean, but it's kind of like what happened with Ohio State last year, where you have these setbacks in the regular season and people drum up the narrative, can you win the big game? Well, in this era of college football, if you have the right mix in the locker room, you can rally and get another shot at it. If they will have a chance to write off that narrative, which they likely will get in the postseason, and go on a run, they will have to beat a lot of top 5, top 10 teams in that thing. But I mean, that's the way the world now is. You'll get a shot at it. So they have a chance to remake their reputation if they can make some changes and come together, I suppose.
What do you think Washington's record will be at the end of the year?
I think they could be 8-4. I mean, they feel like a team that's got some of the best playmakers in the conference, but they're probably behind in terms of the line of scrimmage, of the offensive and defensive line of where they want to be to compete with some of the real sort of cream of the crop in the Big Ten. But in terms of that second tier of the USCs and Illinois, it feels like they're sort of in that conversation. So 8-4 feels about right.
Joey Kaufman of the Columbus Dispatch. Joey, we always appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your insight, okay?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Again, we'll break down Ohio State and Minnesota coming up this Saturday night at Ohio Stadium with some chalk talk. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hey, Buckeye fans. Are you thinking of consolidating your debt with a home equity loan? Union Home Mortgage wants you to know the average homeowner has over $200,000 of home equity available, and they can help you get access to your money quickly and easily. Go to UHM.com to get your cash estimate today. You'll score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AEP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Boy, show's just flown by tonight. Buckeye Roundtable with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. We are proudly presented by Burger King. Visit your local BK restaurant to grab your $10 O-Fry O-Bundle. That includes a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, 8-piece chicken nuggets, and a custom OSU crown, all for just $10 at your local Burger King.
Buckeye Roundtable. Chalk Talk.
Chalk Talk is the segment. We'll get into this the next few minutes or so. We'll start with the delivery of the game. Who do you fellas think needs to deliver the most for Ohio State to beat Minnesota on Saturday?
How about the defensive secondary with Drake Lindsey being the passing threat that he is, and with the receivers doing what they've done, Javon Tracy and Lemecky Brockington? So how about the secondary?
I agree. I mean, Caleb Downs has been very effective, but a little bit quiet, because then we've seen him make plays. He's had everybody lined up and in position. I expect him to go out there and have a big game. How about Jalen McClain? He hasn't been quiet. He's been all over the field making plays. So I agree that secondary has to step up. And let's face it, if you're going to win a championship, you got to have a great defense. Last year, they rated the number one defense, and they're on course to be the number one defense again this year. So that's trending in the right way.
We talked about them earlier as far as the Gophers injury-wise. They only rushed for 16 yards against Rutgers last week, just 144 per game on average. Will that recipe work for them this season?
No, but I think, Skip, the question is going to be, because their top two running backs were hurt going into the game last week, not knowing yet what their status is and when they may get them back. So, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, Darius Taylor has been out. He's been out for a couple weeks now, so I don't know what his situation is. A.J. Turner, I think he was the other guy. He was banged up. So they got Cam Davis, one of the guys listed behind him.
And Femi Ijaboy.
Yeah, so again, they're getting deep into the depth chart of the guys they want, but we'll see if Taylor can come back this week or down the road to help out that running game. But right now, they're going to ride their quarterback and their wide receivers, and again, you want to do that, but you don't want to do it against Ohio State because you don't want to get into a passing attack and have our defensive line have the ability to tee off. I think defensively, they got a really good defensive end, and Anthony Smith, 6'5", 6'6", 285. Has several sacks, I think 4 or 5 sacks so far this year. So he's got the ability to put some pass rushers. You're going to have to do a good job against him.
Coy Parrish, a really good safety.
Yeah, he is. Coy has been good. Obviously, Ohio State recruited him hard, and he didn't end up coming here. Went to Minnesota.
When you think Minnesota, I mean, I know they're injured, but you think running the football, especially under P.J. Fleck. They got the big guys up front. You would have to think they would have more than two backs, though. I mean, I know that they're not going to be at the talent level, but you would think that they would have a little bit more depth, the third and fourth stringers that can get out there and still execute somewhat as far as rushing.
Yeah, and this is, Skip, where you don't know if the transfer portal helps or hurts, because you may lose people, you may bring people in, you may not have them as long as you'd want.
Yeah.
But, when you think about Lawrence Maroney, you think about Darrell Thompson, you think about some of the great backs they've had.
What do you think about the back from Ohio that we had transferred to Minnesota, had 4 carries last year and transferred back to Ohio?
That's right.
So I mean, they might have had some, but they like to major in one guy.
Yeah.
And when you do that, sometimes that blows your depth. They want to leave.
You lose him, that's right. Not that he's been quiet, guys, but might this week kind of have a recipe for a Jeremiah Smith breakout type of game?
It certainly could be. And, he spoiled and wowed everybody last year with those one-handed great catches, the ones he had at Michigan State. One catch he had against Iowa last year comes to mind. But, the other one, too, is we've talked about him a lot, Brandon Ennis. And he's probably been the short guy on the measuring stick when it comes to how well Carnell Tate has played and all that. Even the punt return where he fumbled the ball, we saw him start to get some good movement there. But, he's a guy that maybe starts to become a factor in all of this.
And this was a game last week that I think the only tight end that caught a pass was Max Clare.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so, I mean.
No, Thurman had one.
That's right. Jelani had one, a short one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, those guys coming in the game had 14 receptions combined for 3 TDs, and, they only got targeted a few times in that last game.
Night game, second consecutive home night game, the only home game in the month of October. What do you expect the atmosphere to be like Saturday?
Not sure, because, what we're seeing with Ohio University and Minnesota, fans want the night games, but those aren't the opponents. No disrespect meant that they wanted the night games against.
Ross, we want more night games. Not those night games. We want the other ones.
Well, remember, there was a former head coach here. When he got here, he stumped and campaigned like he was running for president for night games, and he got a bunch of them on the road.
All on the road.
Yeah. No, night games are all right when they're at home. They're no fun on the road because it makes our life tough. Thankfully, Illinois is going to be 11 noon start, so we like that.
But the other thing, too, what makes night games fantastic? When they're the exception rather than the rule.
Right.
And that's the way it was, in the 90s and the early 2000s.
And night games in November aren't any fun at all for anybody.
No.
Except for people at home.
After this, Jim alluded to Illinois, it's back-to-back road games, something that we haven't seen too terribly much over the years with Ohio State, having back-to-back on the road coming up.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, that's kind of what the playoffs are. You're on the road. Obviously they play Tennessee at home, but, then there's road trips. So you got to get in that mood.
And those great environments are going to also.
Illinois will be fabulous, and so will Madison.
Buckeyes in the NFL to take us home. A couple of games tonight, too, Jim.
Yeah, obviously the Jets are playing right now. We got the Bengals, Broncos later on. Jets, Dolphins, on as we speak. But, some of the guys for Ohio State that are starting to come into their form. Quinshon Judkins, who kind of had a late start to the season, had 82 yards and a TD last year. Emeka Buka, I think I talk about him about every week, but every week he makes a big play. Last week he had a 77-yard touchdown, 4 receptions for 101 yards in that game. Another guy, Pete Warner, is playing good football. Now, I think they had a bye, but he had 22 tackles and a sack already for the season, so he's stepping up. Denzel Ward has been so good throughout his career, and, he just kind of silences every receiver that he's gone, but he's got 8 tackles and interception, and good for the Texans. I was at the game yesterday. C.J. Stroud was able to step up and have a couple touchdown passes and get a victory.
Ryan Day alluded to this when he joined us earlier in the show, but tip of the cap to all the Buckeye fans who made the trip out to see us.
Absolutely. That's 2 straight trips to Seattle where there have been a lot of Buckeye fans.
Guys, great job tonight. We'll see you throughout the week, okay?
Yep.
Get some rest. Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. For our producer, Colin Behringer, and for Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. As always, thank you for listening. From Learfield, this is the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.